So probably have a couple people on here, but I'll get started to really kind of be aware of your time today. I thank you for all being here, for getting the information. And I think that this is the way that we can kind of kick off this process again and be on the same page with expectations, because those are the things that are also really important for your new crew members coming in and for your trainers. So, lucky enough, here we are. I titled this So You're the Training Manager. Probably many of you kind of maybe got elected, let's say elected for this position, which really does say something about you, because that means that your GM, your DM thought about you in this role, thinking that you would have the organization, the personality, the patience, and the communication skills to actually oversee this position. So, with having a lot of stores out there and having the training department kind of be me, this is going to be a way for me to work through you and have you work through me, and we can be resources for each other so that we can get back to some basic training processes. So we're going to just talk about some of the basics exactly. I want to lay out the expectations for you, kind of give you where things are, how to use them. And anytime you need me, I'm going to be around here. So first of all, I have, the definition of training, which is organized activity aimed at giving information and or instructions to improve performance or help him or her attain required level of knowledge or skill. And this is what we do every day. It's so important for what we do because we are process and procedure based on everything we do. And gosh, we go through so many changes that I know that it's so difficult to keep track of. So this is what I want to get back to, using some of the tools and the resources that we have, because it's going to make it easier on you, hopefully. So why is training important? Well, chaos. You can have chaos. We've had chaos for a while. And this is where we want to streamline it back and kind of get back to the basic functionality so we can have more consistency. We've been doing that with reinstituting like the QAs, the S2Q team coming out, making sure that we are on the same page, having those learning experiences every day in the stores. That's how we get better. So if there is no training, we have a lot of chaos. No one really knows what they're supposed to do, how they go about it, and everybody wants to do a good job. I believe that. So they're doing it the best way they understand and the best way they know how. They're not going to know those Haas standards. Those of you who have been around a while, there's a lot of you here today that have been. You know the Haas way and how important it is, and how we've always based that as our foundation. And that's never changed. So it's just something that we're going to get back to. They need to know those clear expectations of what they are supposed to do in their position. And what does their position mean to the company? Because we're a team. It's never one person's job to get things done in the restaurant. It's all of ours together. So they need to understand how important their jobs are to what happens every day in the restaurant. And if they don't have any expectations or goals, then they have nothing to work on. They have nothing to get better at, nothing to achieve. So they don't have that sense of accomplishment. And that's where you save your people and you have retention within the store. And that's really what we want to get toward. Is we know it's still very difficult. I mean, I know I see some new hires coming in. Thank you. I know that's not easy, and I know some of them won't be here. Some of you send me messages that say, hey, they never showed up, they're gone already. We know that's going to happen. So we're going to stay the course. We're going to try to get those good people in, keep hiring, because you need to keep the good ones, weed out the bad ones if they don't weed out themselves. So that overall retention is why we want to get back to this training piece. All the teachable moments that you have are going to help you to retain employees. Right now, a lot of people, I know it doesn't seem like it. Sometimes we wonder why they don't feel like they have that work ethic. or common sense or some of the things that you think are an everyday growing up, adulting kind of a skill. However, um, they want to just know the whys. They want to know that they're an important piece of the whole picture. And that's our job to kind of fit them into that. And when they understand that, and when they know, and after you set examples, you're going to have a happy, confident workplace. And that's really overall what we want. So, through the process, and this is a long way down the road, but when you look at new trainees and what they can do, you can also see if they're happy in that role. You can see how they're doing with that. You can see how to move them in if they're very good at it. Maybe they're that person that just has the personality to teach and to get those values across. So you move them into a CDT. That would be a great role. Maybe then they move on to doing an open and close, or then they move on to an MIT. There are so many opportunities with our company, as all of you probably know, because so many of you have really moved up through the ranks too. So you were those people. So we have to continue to set the example and to recognize leadership skills. And ultimately, the bottom line is a crew of eagles. So we all want to have, we know Eagle Service is to be the best of the best, and we want to have a whole crew of eagles. That would be our intention and our ultimate goal. Oops, I think I went too far, guys. Sorry. So in this, we have to have some buy-in. So as we get started into this process, I hope that you and your general manager have talked, all your management team together, that there is a buy-in to help the store to get better. So that training is the big piece of that puzzle. If not, and you don't have that buy-in, then unfortunately, you kind of might be hitting your head against the wall. So we want to make sure it's a priority. It is a priority to our company, and I think that we should be very thankful for that. I know through kind of coming through, the C word, we had to do certain things, and we didn't really have the resources. We didn't have people. We were struggling so badly that training kind of took a back seat. So now we're ready to bring that full front and make sure that training is a first priority for our company. So moving on, we'll talk about trainers. So a lot of you ask me when I'm out in the stores, well, I don't really have a CDT in that area. I know that we're not there yet. We do have more CDTs than we have in a very long time. So I thank you about that. We're going to go through the process later. It's a pretty simple process to get your people certified to train. However, you're going to have times when you do not have a certified trainer, but you're going to use your best people, and that's okay. I understand that that's going to happen. So, through having a process and using these resources, my belief is that we are going to get those good people knowing the details better along with the new trainee. So when we do it together, we just become stronger and the numbers double as we go. So this is a good way for us to get there and to start and make sure that everybody's knowing the same details. It's really hard. We change things. And if you've been around a while, like I have, I go back and I check myself all the time. So and I do the changes. So don't think twice about going in and changing something. And if you ever see anything that you feel isn't correct, just give me a call. I miss things, I make mistakes, but want to make sure that we're on the correct page and we get things where they need to be. Sometimes in the stores, we tend to do things a little differently, and we have to make sure that this is the Haas way. So we want to make sure that that's in the manual. Okay, so it's okay. Use your best people, use resources, and we're going to move forward and get stronger. So, what are your responsibilities? Well, I gave you a little sheet overall, but we're going to go through these things, these items, just so you understand where my vision is and what the expectations of this program are going to be. Your main goal is just to oversee the training program in your store. And that includes a lot. So you're gonna, I think it would be a good idea. You may not always be that person in your location, but I think it's important for you to be involved in the hiring process, using Talent Reef, looking through those applications, and then in orientations. Orientation is one of the biggest steps in keeping employees. That's that first impression. This is where they say, hey, is this a place I want to work? Is this a place I want to come back to? So if it's chaotic and they walk in, nobody knows what's happening, they get thrown to a person and they get thrown right into whatever they're doing, and they don't have much communication, they're not really being taught. How are they feeling at the end of the day? That may be where we have some people walking out and not wanting to come back. So the orientation process when they come in is truly important. First of all, we can't really get them started and pay them until they complete the onboarding. They have some issues with that. So if you have to help them, try to help them with the laptop inside the store. Using the orientation checklist, which I've been sending in the email, I've been sending emails out to the store for all new hires with the employee orientation checklist and also the training plan for the areas that you hired in, just to get it in front of you, just to make it as easy as possible for you. On that new hire orientation checklist, if you go down through that, you're going to become very consistent in what you do. And making them feel welcome, letting them know the true things that are going to make a difference to them when they start. Um, it's the basic things that we sometimes forget about. They want to know, you know, where's the restroom? Where do they park? What's their uniform? When they get paid? Do they get to eat? Do they get a discount? Do they get a drink? Where they put their coat? Some of those things are really basic, but those are first day things. Um, Welcoming them, showing them around the restaurant, introducing them to the crew, and then one-on-one introducing them to their trainer for the day is very important so that they just feel a little bit of a comfort level. They're going to be nervous that first day. They don't know what to expect. So the more we talk to them, the more that we seem real. That's a part of being a training manager and a trainer, is to have that ability to talk to them in a way where you're telling them a story. Tell them about the times that you started or things that happened to you. It makes it real. How you became a manager, all those different things that you might talk to them about. But making them feel welcome and on that first day, so they're going to come back to you. That's the big thing. So, past the orientation, we want to talk about the tools, which you have, or training plans. That's the first and foremost basic item. Those are the details of the area. They're split into shifts. They're flexible and accommodating for you to look over. The trainer can even jump around if they need to, and they're going to check that off. It's a checklist. Did they meet the standard? Do they need more time with it? And then there's a place for comments so that we are using this as a tool for anyone who's training, and also for you as the training manager to have that in front of you that you can check in on those new employees. Where are they in the process? How are they doing? Do you need to talk to the trainer about maybe being flexible and changing some things around or speeding things up? I know we don't get as many training shifts probably with those people. We want to make the best of it that we can, and we want to make sure that we're giving them the details. Not just one shift and we throw that away, then they're on their own. That's really not doing anything for any of us, because we have a person who doesn't really know. They will assume the best they can what they should be doing in their position, and they'll probably get frustrated and then they'll probably leave. Or you have other people working in that area that are going to get frustrated because they don't know what they're doing. So this is why we want to get back to using that training plan with a lot of detail. This is where I think that your trainees and your trainers are both going to learn from that. Getting into the manuals, really reading, that's where the detail is. All the details in the manuals. We keep them online. We do that because we want them to be as up to date as possible. I know sometimes you like to print them out. Try not to print multiple copies or check the dates on them, um, so that you have the newest information. Sometimes it's just a small change in there, but it's something that you want to keep up on so you don't miss it. Um, you are going to be responsible for kind of setting the goals for the trainers, whoever they may be. You need to be aware of those new hires, and you need to be aware of their schedule, their first day schedule, so that you can set them up with a trainer, and that you can also start with pulling the paperwork you need, get the training plan, get the manual, all those things in line so that the trainer has them available the first day. I said about chaos when they get there and those things aren't thought about or aren't ready for them, that's chaos. So, real easy chaos. And it's hard to work and get that done. Training is a difficult process. It's harder to do because you do have a job to do as you're training the new person. So it takes skill, practice, and you can learn from each other. That's what I always believe in, that you can learn from each other every day. I definitely learn something. I learn something every time I walk into your buildings. On the training plan, you're going to find that checklist of items and tasks to learn. And then there is an area for feedback. This is where we want the trainer to make some comments, give some feedback, and that is for the trainee. And that's also for you to keep up on things so that you can follow up on the process. Um, we have a scorecard that's on the portal. Um, it's a training form. And it's not mandatory for you to use, but it's something I know that this is a big time for new hires. We're getting into that area. We're losing our employees to school again and having to hire new employees. A scorecard just basically is a sheet that tracks where they are in the process. So it's just an easy way to see how many people you have, where they are, and when they're going to be ready. Um, so it's just a tool. It's an extra tool out there for you to use. So sometimes we like to think about, how did you do this? You might be a newly certified manager, and that helps you, I believe, because you've gone through the process. You've just gone through training, you understand it. Like, some of those tools hopefully are familiar to you, and you can understand being in that position of training. Like, I'm the new guy. Like, this isn't I'm a front of the house person. So if I get in the back, I'm going to be nervous. I'm going to be unsure of myself. I'm not going to be as confident. So you're going to understand those things as you go. And hopefully that feedback and talking to them and keeping that open communication is going to be easier for you because of where you were. So give me a second. I'm sorry. Um, Talking about tools, training plans. Missy, I told you that she had asked me about it. The training plans themselves, when I gave you the file box, it contained one training plan for every area. So that's the main 6. It also included the POS manual just for a reference. So if you need training plans, which you should have a training plan for every new employee that comes into your building, and you can find those in the portal under the training tab. On the left-hand side is the training tab, training plans, and then you will see each area listed, and you can print them from there. And I can show you that after we're done here. We'll go through a couple of things really quickly. The orientation videos, we don't really have many anymore. What you should be doing first day is showing the orientation video, and that should be a link on your desktop. So if you don't have that, let me know. I sent it out not long ago, so hopefully you all got it on there. The new employee orientation safety, that's an LMS module for everyone. Every new employee should get that in their LMS account. Safe food handling goes to all food handlers in the back of the house. That is an LMS module. And the menu quiz also goes to all employees, and it is an LMS module. So those are the things that you can be looking for. Manuals, talked about these. Just making sure that you get in and look at the dates, make sure that you have the up-to-date information that you need, because we do change them quite often. Sometimes it's back and forth. I need to do a couple of changes now. So I will do those and I'll load them onto the portal. And then hopefully you have the most up-to-date information that you need. And like I said, this is all the detail. So your trainee is going to get the checklist with their trainer in the training plan itself. But to get the details and know exactly what to do, they need that manual section. So make sure that you're getting that to them as well. This is a great tool for your trainers, especially if they have been around a while. Um, just little tiny things, you get used to doing things every day. I do it myself, and that change is hard to get a hold of. I always say if I have to do it like 3 or 4 times to kind of get it in my brain that it's changed and where I'm at and what I need to do. So it's okay. Just make sure we're getting everything as up to date as we can. The operational skills. I did not include these in the file box, but this is an evaluation, basically after they're finished and completed the areas, that you can do on them. And it's task-based. And it's really just a rating form with the feedback in the back, letting them know how they did, what their strong areas are, maybe some things that they can continuously work on. And those are also in the portal under the training tab. And they're under operational skills, and they're also listed by area. So everything is pretty based the same way for you to look for. This does include that evaluation page with a score for each task. It does have room for feedback, and then it has descriptor pages. So for all of those skills that are listed on the front page that you're evaluating and scoring, there's a descriptor to help you to understand what's encompassed in that task. The menu test. All of you, sometimes you ask for this. You should have it, or the new employee should have it in their LMS account. The only thing that does happen is when someone is hired in with Talent Reef, once everything is completed, it gets pulled into our HR system, and that takes anywhere 24 to 48 hours usually, and then it comes through, and then it will take a couple days to get into the LMS system as a new employee. So it is not an immediate thing, but it will show up there within a week to 10 days. It should be in the account. And nobody's really ready for the menu test right away. Make sure they get the study guide, which is on the portal under forms, and let them work with that as a tool along with them training. Back of the house, front of the house, everybody should know our menu. And then let them go ahead and take the quiz in their LMS. Here's that scorecard I told you about. It is a form under training forms on the portal. If it's something that you want to look for or look to use, it's just kind of an organizational tool for you through the process. And then that training file. I gave that to you. Well, I didn't give it to you. I apologize. I gave it to your GMs at the corporate meeting and asked them to take it back to you. So if you don't really have that with you right now, you should be looking for that. This you can set up any way you want. But what this should have in it is a training plan. When you have a new employee, you should be assigning them the training plan for the area they're hired in, put their name on the top of it so that it's easily accessible. That file should be accessible to managers and to trainers. So if you're not there, they should be able to get that file, open it up, and look for the training plan so that they can work with that new employee for that shift. They complete it, goes back into the file after the shift. The new employee does not take it home with them, and it doesn't really get, thrown about or thrown away. We want to keep that. We want to have that in the file for reference so that we know where the new trainees are going and what they're doing. Okay, so we would talk about the certification process for CDTs. If you have anyone that you feel is ready for this and they want to take this on, there is a certification process. It is all through the LMS system. And how this works is you send a request to me, and then I will, with the area that they're going to change it. So I need their name, first and last, and I need the area there or areas they're going to train in. Once I have that information, I can go in and set that up into their LMS account. They will receive a CDT certification module, and then they will receive a test module for whatever area they're going to train in. So those are the 2 pieces or 3 pieces, however many. If they're doing a couple areas, they'll get a couple different tests, but they'll just get one CDT certification module. So this has some different sections in it for them to complete. And this is really where you get into them learning a little bit about the process of how you train, because some of your best employees are not always your best trainers. Um, so try to learn that kind of, be aware and watch and know where you think your best people are and how they can make the best impact with your new employees. So you do test out there, and we always say recertification about every 2 years. That will keep them fresh and up to date, which is another thing that we have to make sure of is that your CDTs and you as the training manager should always be making sure that you're looking at the HOSTA happens for changes, new memos coming out to make sure you're fresh and up to date with information, and to be looking into those manual sections once in a while. I mean, I know that's the last thing you want is like home reading, but if you have any downtime and you have someone like Missy, I'm sorry I'm using you as an example, but you just said, boy, we haven't hired servers in a while. So I assume that everybody probably maybe needs a refresh on that, and that'll happen. So if you can just kind of get in there, look around, you don't have to read every single detail, but there's going to be areas in there that I'm sure that you can refresh on. So make sure your trainers and yourself are up to date as much as you can be. And you do set this in motion. Um, we all have to be on the same page with training. We have to kind of believe in it, know that it is going to be something that makes us better, makes our people better. I know that you're all using Ovation now, and different things are coming through. Sometimes it's food, sometimes it's service comments, but this will help us. It will help us to see consistency and what our guests want from us, and ways that we can improve, ways that we can train so that everybody understands the expectations of their job and that they can do that in the best way. And when we really teach them in this way, if there's any time that they're not doing those things, we know exactly how they've been trained, and it makes it easier for us to go back as managers and say, hey, we need to work on this. We need, do you need to be retrained? Do we need to do something? Do we need to put that person in a different area? So whatever we need to do to make them a good employee, we want to take seriously. Know that I'm going to be here for you, be working with you on all the processes. So anything that you need and any questions that you have, please call me. You can always reach me either email or by phone. And we just want to get back to those basics and consistency. We've always done things the Haas way, so it's really important for us to know the Haas way. So this is a way for us to do it. Something I wanted to mention that was on the sheet that I gave you under expectations was just the follow-up process that I would like you to be heavily involved in. You are going to be that person for the follow-up. Making sure that you're doing a little follow-up at the end of their shift every week, every couple days, so you can really see like what are they liking about the job, maybe what they're struggling with, anything that you can do to help them. If you're not comfortable with some questions or maybe talking to them in that way, you can also go use some of the stay interview questions that'll help you with a base couple of things that might be easier and more comfortable for you to do. Um, want you to follow up and adjust any training that needs done. Some people will move faster, some slower. Training is always flexible and adjustable. So we need to keep our eye on that just to make sure we're doing the best job that we can for them. Um, Bring that follow up and anything that you have to manager meetings and discuss your new employees and how things are going or what they need. That means that every manager in your store is going to be on the same page and you're going to do the best positive thing for the new employee. So, um, it's always ongoing development for all of us. We learn every day. We should be. And for trainees as well, that should be ongoing. We should recognize what they're doing well and if there are any opportunities for them to move forward in the company. And that brings us to the end. I want to thank you, but I'm also going to get out of here and I'm going to try to show you, just get into the portal a little bit. Um, see if I can just flip into this. Probably, it's never just as simple as flipping into it, but nope. Why? Okay, so I'm having a problem with Portal. Um, but you're going to find everything on the portal on the left-hand side. Go down to the bottom to training, click on that tab. When you open it, you will then see a place for your manual sections. It'll have the manuals, it will have the operational skills file, and it will have the training plan file. Click on any one of those. When you open it, it will then give you every area listed down. So you just click on there and get into what you need to look at. So you can do manuals if you don't want to print them, do them on the laptop, open them up and you can have them do some reading there as well if you don't want to do all that printing, because I know that that's tough in your store. And I'm emailing out the training plans to you weekly for your new hires. So hopefully that's helpful. But if there's anything else that you need from me or you have any great ideas that are going to help you out, please give me a call. I'm always open and interested to hear what you have to say because you're doing it every day and we want to get back to doing the best thing that we can for our new employees. So, anybody have any questions for me? I'll put me back on and say hi. Um, if you do, you could just unmute and just ask any questions that you might have.
I have a question.
Okay.
So if someone's hired and they need their videos, do we always need to reach out to you to get those videos uploaded?
No, they will automatically go into their LMS account. But like I said, there's a little bit of a crossover time as a new employee until they get in there. It could be a week to 10 days, depending on where it all falls and it pulls in.
What if the
Um,
what if the right videos aren't uploaded? Like what if they've been hired and they're working in multiple departments?
then contact me. But most things, like the menu test goes to everyone, food handlers goes to the back, but if you want that, I could put it in. Um, and the orientation video is just a link and it should be on your desktop that you can quickly show them the day, their start date during orientation. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Samantha, hi. I said some of you are already doing kind of a good job. You've kind of been inducted into this for a while and have been using a lot of the tools, so I do appreciate that and probably learn a lot more from you as we go as well. Anybody else have any questions for me?
Pam, is there any way possible for like the people that do have we get those LMS trainings that they're not getting duplicates or triplets of it because it's taking forever?
Um, what do you mean it's taking forever,
Well,
Joel?
it takes them forever to clear out their LMSs instead of just doing the one and they're done. They've got to if they want to clear
Oh,
out
they
the
don't have to do more. They only have
okay,
to do one.
right. But then they say
What
they got
happens
some
is we pull them in by job code. If they have multiple job codes, that's what happens. And it's hard for us to do that because they're in our system. That's how they pull into the HR system and they pull over. Michael's been trying to look at something like that, that we can simplify it because I know it's hard to look at in their account, but they only have to do one of those. They do not have to do all of them. Absolutely not.
Okay, I just
So
want to make sure.
yeah, hope that helps you. Yeah. If I find it, we'll try to use it. We've been trying to work on it. We just haven't been able to eliminate that yet because that's how we pull them into the LMS system by job code. And so many of our employees have multiple job codes. So
I know it's,
anybody else? Yeah.
I think he's just referring to for as a trainer, it's easier to look in their account and see it empty than you know they did it, rather than go in and look at their completed and make sure that they did it when they have thousands of completeds in there, especially for the older employees. So all that
Yeah.
doubling up it got frustrating at first till you figure it out. They didn't have to do all this.
Yeah, I absolutely get that because I know there's a lot to look at. And sometimes I go in as well, Gail, and look to see what, I'm looking for something as well. If that person, that employee has received a piece of training and it's pages and pages, I know. It's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough, but hopefully we'll find a solution. We keep doing that every day, so hopefully it'll be easier to look at. But I know it's confusing. But yes, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that if they have multiple like repeated LMSs, it's the same one. They only have to do it once.
And I haven't been able to find that scorecard. I looked for it, but I had made my own tracking sheet up, but I was looking.
Really?
Yeah, I did that before I even got elected for this stuff. But I still even now I've been through the portal while we're talking and I can't find the scorecard.
I know you can't see me, but I'm trying to get into the portal.
I went in under manuals and forms and I went in under training and I don't see the scorecard listed.
Do this. Yeah. Would have
Maybe
been
it's in the
there.
toolbox.
Would have been in forms, I believe. Training forms. Trainee scorecard. I think here.
I was just gonna make sure Mayan had everything on. Where'd you find that?
Which it's just you have to go to the next page and it's under T trainee scorecard. And it's really basic. I mean, it's it's not anything that is
Okay, yeah, Mayan works too.
I'm trying to get these screens up, but it's pretty basic, but it's just a quick view of where they're at so you can kind of see what they've been through.
Could you send us a copy of that?
Yeah, it's in the portal. Go to the portal.
Oh, okay.
And I'll show you. I'll try to show you again here. Let's see. I just have to share my screen and it's on multiple screens. So let me try to get back into the portal and we'll do that this way. So, yeah, let me kind of go back here. Take me back. There we go. Let's go to home. So I went down here. We go down to the training tab. You're going to open that up. And then you're going to go over to or up to manuals and forms and click on that. And then you'll go into the forms directory. And then down to training forms. We list that. It's under T. So get down here and go to the next page. And then you'll see trainee scorecard. And it's right here.
No wonder I couldn't find it.
I'm
Okey
sorry.
doke.
No wonder
Okay.
I know it's a little bit of the portal's always that way a
Okey
little bit. If you're not used to it, it's kind of tough, but that's where it is. So,
You want me to
and I can send it out to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll print it and send it to them.
Yeah, I can send it to you. It's there for you if you need any of the resources anytime.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anyone else have any questions? Thanks. I'm loving this because even having a few questions that's really good. We don't always get that. So I appreciate it very much. No one else has anything? We went just a little bit over, but I really appreciate your time. I hope that we, kind of set this out. And like I said, I'm always available for questions. So just give me a call. You guys have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Bye, Pam.
See ya.
Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pam.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
Thank you. Bye, Pam.
Take care.